Hello guys, Patrick here, Eggnoc Poker, and we're going to be jumping straight back into part 2 of this session review from one of my Discord community. So let's jump straight back in. See if we can get some more interesting hands on this second half. 5-6 suited, beautiful. Let's open that one. H7 suited, we can free bet, we can call. We can also potentially fold sometimes against nits. I don't really care. I would prefer a call or free bet though. Love the 3-bet. King 8 suited, I would either be completing here against the recreational or raising it up. I don't mind either. I think both are fine. I would not fold it though. I think our hand is too strong. You've got an absolute nit here in the big blind, and you've got obviously a recreational limping UTG. Our hand, I'm not saying it's dominating loads of his limping range. If he can limp King 10, King Jack, King 9, whatever, Ace Jack, Ace 10, Ace 9, we don't know, but I would think King 8 suits, and you could make this profitable. I think you can make it profitable by raising this, or potentially just calling with this guy, but with this absolute nit behind. Just seeing a flop against this guy and hitting quite hard and making a lot of money is something we're looking to do. So I would either raise this or complete against this nit big blind. I'd prefer to raise it though, personally. I'd make this like 5. But, you know, whatever, it's not the end of the world, but that's what I prefer to do. Very nice 3-bet table too, though. Flop pretty well. Excellent. I'd be putting money in here. I'd be betting bigger here. I'd be betting a bit bigger. I'd be going like half to 2/3 or so. Both strategically and exploitatively. We just want to be betting bigger if we're betting these type of board textures. Like, we are 3-betting some 8s and 6s. We are calling some 8s and 6s. We are folding some 6s. We are I don't know how much at micro stakes I would never be folding 8s, I think. But I think it's just a case of like we're betting flush draws, we're betting over pairs, and we're betting some of our bluffs. And we're doing a decent amount of checking on this. So I'd probably go a bit bigger than 3rd. But exploitatively, like, again, we unblock loads of folds. Like, he's just got like King 10 of hearts. He's got like Queen Jack of, you know, diamonds, whatever. He will just fold to a 3rd and won't. But later down the line, betting small all the time will kind of promote a banner on top of your head that says, please raise me, like, please bluff me, I'm over c-betting too small for a small size. But, you know, who cares at the moment? I think if I'm betting small, I'd be absolutely blasting more turns though, because I expect this guy to be floating wider, considering that we bet smaller. But it's not the end of the world again. Queen of spades, I'd be going big here, like 3/4, something like that. Absolutely punish like a pair of 5s, pair of 4s, 5-6 suited of diamonds, something like that. Ace high floats. Some spade floats may continue turn. And he's obviously got some Queen X because we bet small. So he may have floated a little bit wider than he should have done. So just bear that in mind. But I think we're fine. I like it. Smashing these boards. On this board texture against UTG, I'd be a bit more careful. Against lead, okay, so just first off to look at is the fact that this guy is 80. We've got 70 hands on this guy, 69. So it's not a huge sample, but we can see 18, 10, 0. It's enough for us to start having a generalization that this guy's really tight. When they defend in the big blind, 5, 6, 8 is really bad for our range, right? So we would be doing a lot of checking. We would be doing mostly some small betting. He's got more pocket 5s than us. He's got more 5-6 than us. He's got more 8-6. He's got more 7-9, etc., etc., etc. He's also got some 7-4 suited and whatnot. Exploitatively, though, I would always be betting most of the time. When you've got a hand like this, I want to be putting money in and starting to try and stack worse flush draws that make flushes. I want to be attacking and calling raises. That's what I'd want to be doing at the micro stakes rather than like checking back. Versus donk for a smallish size, they're not doing it. Like, people at this level don't donk for the right reasons. So this guy's probably just got something. He's probably either got something like maybe a top pair, maybe pocket 7, 6, 7. He's got something, right? So I don't think he folds. So if we raise, we're raising to basically say we're going to get it in, but we're trying to get it in versus like 8x of spades, King 10 of spades, Queen Jack of spades. But this guy probably has a decent more amount of value than most people. So I don't hate just calling this either for that specific reason. I really don't mind. Like, it's up to you. But bear in mind, I would assume he's quite strong. Okay. So when this turn spade comes in, now we want to be raising against worse flushes. And now we want to attack 8x. And I would be careful if you face 3-bets to potentially consider folding either the turn or the river. Because I think against these types of nitty opponents, I don't think they're going to 3-bet flushes on a paired board. They may not even lead them, and they don't always lead their flush draws, but I'd be raising this turn for value against 8x. I'd be absolutely putting some money in here. Like, I would assume this guy's either got a flush or an 8x most of the time, so I'd be looking to get value from that. And had they 3-bet huge on the turn, I might consider folding potentially against this type of villain, but I think we should absolutely raise here for value is what I'm saying. I'd go like 15 here. I don't expect him to fold anything that we beat. I don't hate call, but I think we should just get some more value out of that attacking that range. Same with the river against this river block. Like checking this calling this and him showing us a hand like ace-8 of clubs is a disaster, whereas he might call a raise. Also, if he's just got like 9-10 of spades, he led a flush draw, the board paired, he's betting kind of like smallish on the river. He bet the turn and then bet smallish on the river. It's a crime not to get more value out of this hand. So I would be raising this. I would be raising this for value. If he 3-bets, we'll go from there. But yeah, I like this river raise. Lovely. A bluffs here could be something like maybe ace queen, ace 10 with the spade, for example, that called the flop. Just float the turn and then raise the river. But I think mostly we get here with value, really, don't we? He's tanking for ages, assuming he just has an 8. That's my guess. He folds, unfortunate. I probably would have got a bit more money out of that one, though. What was this, a limp pot with jack deuce of clubs? Against a recreational shorter stack, I would have either led this or folded. I wouldn't have check raised, check called. Easy fold though, good fold. Hopefully folding the ace deuce and the king 5. King 4, a bit loose, but again, if you've got reads that they fold a lot in the blinds, check that and then use it as a reason to go ahead and bet. Don't default bet though. Try and look and have a reason to bet. Because King 4's quite loose. It's quite loose. Again, we can defend the king 6 or 3-bet it. Again, it would have been another candidate to potentially 3-bet, but again, calling is completely fine. I think we can check call or check raise on this flop. I would love both. Against this size, we can absolutely raise. I'd be raising big or I'd be calling. Okay, could have potentially considered leading this turn. This wouldn't have been a bad turn to lead. He's going to check back a lot of hands like ace king, ace queen now that we could potentially just attack. He's going to have some middling hands that we can start putting some pressure on. Checking is fine, but we could potentially have led this turn. I would absolutely be potentially considering bluffing some rivers if we don't get there as well. This river's one of them. I mean, I know that we have a very bad hand to bluff with because we have the king 6 of diamonds. I know villain technically can have some flushes that check back, and I know villain's supposed to technically have a lot of overpairs. The thing is, exploitatively, none of that absolutely matters. It really doesn't. This guy does not check back enough overpairs. He does not check back enough flush draws on the turn. And he does not have enough protected checkbacks with like a 10 or like a really strong one pair. He's just got loads of hands that beat us on showdown. He might even just check back and win, like ace jack, ace queen, ace king, king queen, shit like that. We have more 9s, I think, as played. I mean, you can have some, but I would be betting this even with diamonds in my hand. I don't care that this is a bad combo to bluff with. I would bet this. I would absolutely bet. I don't mind betting small and bidding something like an ace high. I don't mind betting relatively big and trying to attack something like pocket 7s or like ace 8 of clubs. I really don't mind. I wouldn't check though, even though this is not the greatest combo to bluff with. For those exploitative reasons, I would bluff personally, but it is what it is. We just never win like this, and exploitatively we can absolutely go after these types of really, really unprotected checkbacks. So you see, I'm not saying this isn't a vacuum is a mistake, because this is kind of a shitty hand to bluff with. You do block 6-7, but villain is supposed to have a decent amount of hands that can call here, and we're over bluffing. But technically I would have gone for this on the river, and even a small size, for example, would have been this. you know, most of the time. So I would have tried to bluff this river at these stakes. Should be folding the ace-9, I believe, unless we've got loads of really, really terrible players we can attack. But ace-9 is a pretty crappy hand. Again, guys, as always, if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe, leave your comments, join the Discord, have a look at the Twitch, all the links are in the description, and have a look at GTO Wizard here if you're considering improving. Get 10% off with the link you can see on my left, and you can start studying and becoming all you can be, baby. Let's defend that 8-6 suited, yep. Checking table 1. Well, we got table 2 here with the 8-6. Yeah. So really we should kind of be betting big or checking in theory, but kind of screw that. It's exploitative. So I would literally just be betting a small size here. Or, you know, I don't mind betting bigger, but like we can attack like Queen X, pocket 9s, pocket 10s with a bigger size. But I think we can technically just bet small here and then just bet and then probe a lot of turns and just win like a lot of the time. If this guy's just got 8-9 of hearts, he's just going to fold. If he's got pocket 7s, he's just going to fold even for a small size. I don't mind it. I think I probably would have gone a bit bigger, but small's completely fine. I like the check on table 1. Yeah, that's fine. So now that this guy's checked and called, a 6 doesn't beat anything. We should probably just be behind here a lot. However, we still beat King 10. We beat King Jack. He could turn some clubs. He could absolutely just have like ace 7 of diamonds, King Queen of hearts. I think with a pair and a flush draw, I just like keeping life easy and sticking to theory and mostly checking back. If I hadn't turned a pair here, I'd be just overbet blasting this turn. Fuck them. But I would be checking this turn back. We beat King 10, we beat King Jack, we beat club draws. Drill the river, that's nice. So, versus this river lead. So, villain's opened the small blind, we've called. He's called a small size on the flop. Check, turn, and then decided to lead, like, what is this, 2/3? People don't really at this stake ever have checks with flush draws unless he wanted to, maybe he had a hand like King Jack of spades, which he may have wanted to check raise, and then decide... Oh, no, no, I'm lying, sorry. He called the flop, didn't he? Shouldn't really have a flush here then. I don't know what this is. This is like a weak marginal ace. I wouldn't, literally exploitatively, I would literally make this like 9. That's what I would do. I think this guy's got like ace 10. I would go 9 and see if we can get called by ace 10. No, don't just call. Please raise for value. No, we need to get more money from this. This is way too conservative. I know you have an 8 high flush, and I know villain's shown aggression again, and he is technically, well, thin value betting. I understand, but I would have absolutely raised this river. We absolutely need more money, and he can call with worse as well. Also, if he's got a hand like ace deuce here, I mean, that would have absolutely called a raise. That means he's going to have some hands like ace 7. It means he could have queen 7 suited, whatever. I would just raise this. We have a flush. We can get called by worse, so I put more money in. Again, not really making the maximum out of this spot. So what happened here, table 1, opened and we 3-bet. Okay, yeah, I like it. You can potentially call here with the fish and recreationals behind. Also keep the wider parts of villain's range in. Or we can absolutely go normal and 3-bet in a high rake environment. I love both. On the flop here, so strategically I like betting a third. Exploitatively, I kind of like sizing up. I just think you've got value. The guy doesn't fold a worse jack. The guy doesn't fold ace king, ace queen, ace 10. The guy doesn't fold like king queen of hearts to 1-bet. I would just bet bigger. Honestly, I would just bet big, and stack a worse jack or a strong ace. That's what I would look to do. Especially at micro stakes, that's my only consideration. Pick up a flush draw just in case. It's always nice. I'd be nuking this turn. We want to be putting 20 plus, and we want to be trying to stack the river. So if we put 20 in, that's 70. Yeah, we want to go big. I'd go like 25 here. Go really big. Get called by ace queen, get called by ace king, get called by worse jack X, and then jam the river. That's what we're looking to do. We've got a slightly awkward SPR now, 79 into 68, but it's not really the end of the world. I'll just be sticking it in now. Calls with ace king, calls with jack 10, queen jack, jack 9 suited, whatever. Don't go 75%. Please don't go 75%. All of it. Lovely, yeah. He calls, he's got ace king. Easy. Imagine you went 75% here and you didn't get that last little bit of value. Disaster. Nicely done. Booker 3, so just exploitative mindset. Check. You got a pair. You got a backdoor straight draw. Don't get check raised. Just check back in position. We don't care that we're capped because against most of the population, we really don't care. There's no such thing as betting for protection most of the time. We're just checking because it just puts us in spots where we check. We bet a lot and then check turns and stuff like that. We got marginal made showdown. I would just check back the flop. Had we bet the flop here, it would absolutely be checking the turn most of the time. Okay. This is a bad river because we now get counterfeited, so we absolutely now need to bluff this river. So we now need to represent something like... It's kind of tough, to be honest, because the thing... We could have maybe checked back... We could have potentially checked back an 8. We could have potentially checked back a pair. We kind of look... I mean, ace high and king high wouldn't bet this river. This is a really awkward spot. I think I would get bet big here. I would absolutely just consider betting big. The thing is, if this guy... No, I'm lying. I'd bet small. I'd bet small. I'll tell you why. So I think if we bet small... Oh, this is a really tough spot. This is why I wouldn't have checked... This is why I wouldn't have bet the flop and checked the turn. I wouldn't have been here in the first place. Because we bet the flop and check the turn, now we look like ace high and king high, which wouldn't bet this river. So when we go back and bet this river, we now look like overpairs, I suppose. But overpairs wouldn't... we shouldn't really nuke overpairs here because it's just hard to get called by worse. If he's got like a 4, he can't really call. If he's got 6s and 7s, he may just fold. It's kind of tough. And then he's got a shitload of 5x, right? So I guess you got two options. You could go small here and just attack his range of like floats. So like 9, 10 of spades, jack 10 of spades that are going to beat you on showdown. Or you could go a bit bigger, like 75%, and start attacking like the ace highs that might then start to fold. But it's kind of like a hard sell, in my opinion. You can't check back though, because you just can't win. You have literally the nut low. You cannot check that back and let ace high win. You have to bet. I don't think we can ever consider checking this back. As played, I would have checked back the flop, called a turn probe, and then on this river facing check as what probably would have happened. Then would have bet the river, representing like 7s or like maybe an 8 or a marginal 8 or an overpair. Ooh, should have been opening the King Jack. King Jack's an easy open table 1. Unless we've got a reason not to, but really we should be opening that one. As with the King 5. Excuse me. Yeah, we should really be opening that King 5. Don't fast fold that. It should be an open. As is the Jack 7. Or was that fold? Give me a second. Yeah, this King Jack should have been an open. King 5 should have been an open. Jack 7 could have been an open. Lots of hands we could potentially be opening that were not. 8-9 off against a 3x and a hijack, I'd be folding. Excuse me. Be folding the 10-8 suited, I think, to a 3x UTG. Yep, nice folds, easy. King 7 we can attack with if we want to on the table 2. I think... See, against limp, I just want to go after every single pot. I literally just... This just stinks of weakness. I would just go after this, even with a hand like King 7. I'm not saying it's the best play ever, but I'd probably just go after these boys. You could just absolutely run them down. Go to like 5. Fuck them. Table 2 with the A6 here. I mean, this guy's got a 63% VPIP over 300 hands. I don't think you can fold. I mean, I'm not saying... we don't have enough information to just fold the flop directly. He limped. He could be limping Queen 10, Queen 9, 10-6 suited. He could have like King 5 of clubs. Like you can't just fold to one bet. I think ace high is good enough to call there. Although Queen 7 I would be folding. Easy folds with the 6-3 and the 9-7. I like that. We've got this hotkey bound for the fast fold. Really, really nice. Queen Jack suited. Ooh. Against a 3.5. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a sore throat. Against a 3.5x UTG, that would lean me more towards a fold in this rake environment. I think that is very, very borderline. I think I'd have to have like King 10 suited plus. The only thing is this guy's got a 41% VPIP over 300 hands, 26% PFR. What I would suggest is, but I don't even know what your action is going to be here, right? So I'm a little bit, I don't want to be biased. Yeah. Is I would look at this guy and have a look at what his under the gun PFR is. This guy's got a 26% open and a 41% VPIP, but have a look at his UTG. Check that he's, see if he's got like quite a tight or quite a loose range under the gun. If he's quite loose and looks quite splashy, which he does, it might be profitable to defend here, or very, very close to profitable, like a very small profit. If this guy is quite like, if it was a tighter opponent, then I would probably just fold this against a 3.5x default. I can't blame calling, I can't blame folding, but try and look at that before you just kind of go, oh, call or I'll fold. I think I would try and make a decision there. I don't mind either though, but I'd probably be mostly folding, unless we flop the world, which is considerable on this flop. Let's have a look. So I don't mind check calling, check raising, I guess, against most sizes. So technically, theoretically, right, the UTG could technically have some overbets, but he would mainly be focusing on like 3/4 or half and some small sizes, right? Like UTG, big blind, dynamic. So against full pot, against someone with this kind of like mediocre stack, like 50, 60 big blind start the hand, whatever. Queen Jack of spades, we're obviously never folding. We're just debating whether or not to check call or check raise. I think both would be really, really good. The problem with this SPR is if we call here and then the villain just starts nuking turns, it's really awkward, right? It's really awkward because we kind of lose the opportunity of the check raise jam on the turn, potentially, for, when he started sort of dumps most of his stack in. And also calling looks less attractive, but we have so much equity. Again, same as pre-flop, I would look at this guy, see if he's got what his c-bet flop stat is. If he's c-betting a lot of the time, so say for example he's c-betting like 70, 80, 90+% of the time, and then maybe giving up turns, I really prefer calling. Like, I really like calling. If this guy is just blasting loads of flops with Queen 10 of clubs, 6, 7 of diamonds, he's got, I don't know, Queen 9 offsuit, if he's betting his entire range for pot trying to scare you, then I would actually prefer just always raising and getting it in, personally, rather than kind of getting kind of screwed over on the turn, facing maybe a really, really large bet or a check and realise. I think personally I would like a raise here, just and get it in versus this size and versus this opponent. I expect him just to fold a lot. He could just bet King 10 and fold. He could bet 7s and fold. He could stack off with a worse flush draw. I think this type of opponent would do that. I don't think he's going to pot it with aces, kings, ace, king, ace, queen. Maybe they do sometimes, but that's too small of a range, too narrow of a range. I'd probably raise here, I think, against this type of opponent, just based on those stats. I don't hate calling, but calling puts some awkward spots on turn. We'll figure it out. We're umming and ahhing, we're not sure. We call, I suppose. Are we calling? Okay, yeah, we call. Right, so complete brick on the turn. Now we want to see what we can do. What is villain size? Let's have a look. Okay. So against this huge pot size, this is again the kind of part in the hand where we should have already had our kind of battle plan predetermined. If we're going to raise the flop, we kind of eliminate this difficult decision where it's like, now can we call, now can we raise? If this guy had a full-on stack, I like mixing raise and call for the same reasons as the flop. But against this SPR, this is now really awkward because now I'm assuming when this guy pots flop and turn, this is tough because I'm just expecting this villain to have all worse flush draws. 4, 5 of spades, 6 and 8 of spades, 10, 7 of spades, 5, 6 of spades, like 9, 10 of spades, whatever. But then at the same time, it's like, does he have Queen 10s? Does he have other Queen Jacks that we can make fold? Does he still just merge King 10 of hearts against a flush draw? That's the thing. This guy looks like a bit of a whaley kind of spazzy player with these stats. So I kind of think I like check jamming still. I would probably check jam this or fold. I think calling because there's no SPR behind, and we could still potentially get bluffed by this type of opponent who might then over bluff like 9-10 of spades. You know, like, I don't know. I would potentially jam the turn or fold. I think that's a decision I would make against this SPR and this type of player. That's my thought process. Let's have a look. I don't fault folding. I don't fault it. We have so much equity and we could have had the best hand though. So that's why I kind of like continuing and then continuing as a jam, potentially. That's what I kind of would have liked. But, you know, it is what it is. Five or six more minutes, guys, and we'll be done with this. I think we'll be folding 9-7 suited. We want to be opening this Jack 9 of spades. Very beautiful hand. Yes, please. So multi-way micro stakes, I would just be doing a lot of checking. I want to be bluffing and I want to be betting for value. I don't really want to be doing a whole lot of merging. We'd be trying to just check this down and go to showdown. That's our plan. If villain bets, we'll go from there, but we're just trying to check and go to showdown. On this river, see, the problem is, like, we still lose the king jack. It's not like we beat all jacks, right? I'm debating whether or not to bet this. I would either bet like 1.5 big blinds to target like 7s, 6s, 5s, like jack 9. Oh, sorry, jack 8, jack 7. No, but that would still be ace, ace. We've got, yeah. Ace, ace, queen, jack, jack. I mean, I think you still get called by 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, right? So I'd probably bet like 1.5 big blinds, something like that. That's what I'd probably do. Or check. I don't actually hate checking still. I think you could probably get the smallest sliver of value. 1.5, 2 would be lovely. I think this is a bit big. This is kind of forcing him to call with like a queen. Or maybe like, you know, just either king jack or another jack that might have us beat or chop, sorry. Pocket tens, easy open, I suppose. King 10, we should start considering opening at some frequency, especially at these stakes. If you got recreation, it's the same thing as the other connectors, you know. You can open the kind of weaker, more marginal parts of ranges if you've got recreationals and nits and so on behind you, because you can make them profitable, right? You don't have to worry about opening too wide and getting exploited, or getting 3-bet, you know, a lot of the time and kind of having to fold. We defended the 7s. Yeah, I'd be mostly calling. I prefer to have a heart, but I think we do beat enough hands. Just note, if you've got really, really nitty opponents betting multi-way and a pair like this without a heart, even with some backdoor straight draws, might consider folding, but probably mostly a call on the flop, an easy fold turn, yep. Ace king suited, I'd like to see a nice big raise. We've got 87-4 here. Just absolutely huge. Yep, 6 is really nice. Really, really nice. I like that. I think it is a bit big. Like, I probably would have liked like 5. I know that's not much difference, but 6, I mean, against the opponent, you're against an 87-4, 6, really big is nice. It's just technically because we've got a hand that can call aggression behind and stack off, I like really, really big. But had we had a hand like ace, jack, ace, queen, king, queen suited, be careful not to go that big where you kind of put so much money in and kind of the times you do get raised behind, for example, you might sort of get punished for it a little bit, but it's, you know, it's not the end of the world. With a hand this strong, the bigger the better, I suppose, that we can get called. Against limp jam with a cold call behind, it's quite funny because this guy's got 4% raise and a 0% 3-bet over 185 hands. So, like, I expect this guy to have aces, kings, queens, jacks, 10s, maybe 9s, very rarely 8s, ace king, ace queen suited. Ace queen suited is a bit of a mix, I suppose. I think for villain's range, unless he's just doing some weird spazzy thing, I think ace king suited with a cold caller, it kind of incentivizes him to jam more with some of the more marginal parts of that jamming range. So I don't think we could ever consider folding against this. I would just close my eyes and call. Our opponent's in the tank with the cold call. He's got what, jacks, I suppose? Maybe a pair of queens. Excuse me, king jack offsuit. Okay, well, again, we need to mark this guy as a crazy guy. We need to absolutely make a note that this guy is is limping and cold jamming. Just check raise jam, limp jamming, sorry, with king jack offsuit, if I can speak English. Make sure you mark that opponent so you don't get here with a hand like ace queen suited and fold against this guy's limp back raise with the cold in a similar situation. You need to make a note of that. That's really important. I'm assuming we just don't win because most of the time when people get it in this good, we just get ironed. Nice. Nicely done. We get rewarded with another ace king. Open that one up, please. Oh, yes. I'm assuming we've opened slightly larger because we've got a recreational small blind. I can get behind that. Jack 8 suited, I'll be opening. So, Jack 8 suited versus a 3-bet. I think we want to start looking at like Jack 9 suited, Jack 10 suited, etc. Thing is, because this is just exploit world, isn't it? Look at the guy's 3-bet size. It's only gone to 8. He should have really gone to like 11.5, 12. He should go massive, really, against the button. The button's more dynamic. He should be going quite big and having quite a strong polarized range. Okay, with this kind of crappy size, like look at his stats. He's 21, 10, 3 over 456 hands. So this guy's a nit, right? 3% 3-bet size. He's just got like queens. He's got like jacks. He's got ace, queen, ace, king. Your hand's not doing great, but you've got such an amazing price and position. And you know this guy's going to play so terribly and face up that when he's got ace, king and the board comes out 4, 5, 6 and he checks, you can just blast him, right? When the board comes out ace high, king high, etc. and he starts checking, you can absolutely start blasting him off these underpairs. With this price in position, I would probably call and try and outplay this guy post flop. That's what I would probably look to do. Plus, you got Jack 8 suited. It's not, you know, against this tiny size, I wouldn't fold. I don't fault you if you do fold, but I would like to see a call. Table 1 with the snowmen, mostly calling, I believe. You could probably do some 3-bet, probably some fold against 3x. Be check folding. So against check, snap, check back. Against the next exploitative, against a recreational, I would just be leading now pretty big. Attack like ace queen with a club. Attack ace king with a club. Attack like king 10 with the king of clubs. Blast. Just go really big. These people, especially recreationals, don't fold. It's a bit big. 5, 6, 7, 8, you name it. On this river, his range improves. So king, queen improves. But apart from that, his range like ace 5, ace 8, ace 10, ace king, ace queen with a club gets bigger, gets better. I don't mind check raising. I don't mind betting big. I think both are completely fine. I would have bet bigger against half pot. Like, don't let this guy sort of call the minimum with like ace queen, ace king, ace 10, ace 8, ace 5. Things like that. I understand that with there's 3 to a straight here. There's 3 to a flush. King queen improves, but I would probably just bet bigger and then fold to raise. I think you make most money on this spot. Versus direct min raise, it's not. If this guy jammed, I might consider folding depending on what kind of opponent it is. Even though we would beat some value, but it's more likely to be some kind of like slow play big hand or like king queen. Against this size, I'm just never folding. It's just a call. I wouldn't 3-bet get this in though. If he's got a hand like ace 10, ace 5, ace 8, ace queen, ace king, even like ace jack, I don't know if he stacks off. I don't know, and I think he's repping king queen better than those hands, and potentially a flush better than those hands. So I would just be calling, and just that's it. Nice and easy, I suppose. I wouldn't be raising, never folding. Okay, nice, yeah. We've got about 1 more minute of footage, I believe, and then we are done. 10-8 offsuit could potentially have opened the small blind, depending on the big blinds. Pocket 3s, I'd be absolutely ISOing this limp. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely nuking this ace king. Yep, lovely. Yeah, easy fold versus short stack 3-bet with a small blind. It's unfortunate to bet to ISO for a big size and fold a 3-bet, but when the guy's got a short stack, we don't really want to be stacking off with threes. Ace king. So this is weird because the guy min raised and called, and this is a shortish stack, and then we 3-bet ace king, obviously pretty standard and cool. With this SPR, I don't mind checking, I don't mind betting small, or I don't mind jamming. At this SPR, like, because he just has hands like 8s and 9s, like king 10, jack 10 suited. Those hands will call against block and then might stack off with a 1-to-1 SPR on the turn. Whereas when you jam, they might just fold, which is really good for fold equity. I know you technically have nut showdown value, so we shouldn't really be looking at purely fold equity from that point of view. But because we're exploit focused, we're not strategically focused. We're exploit focused against weak capped opponents. If this guy had pocket 10s to pocket queens, like, oh, sorry, if he had pocket queens, he would have got it in, right? So his main hands here that are going to call are hands like strong queen X. We block ace queen of diamonds. We block king queen of hearts. It sucks to block king jack, I suppose, but you can have 8-9. You can still have king jack. And then if we could absolutely make him a bit indifferent and bin him with his marginal made pairs and other ace kings, really good for us. So I actually like shoving here. I like betting small to potentially barrel or check back, and I like checking. I like all options for those different reasons. This is exploitative, by the way. Those are the main reasons. So when we bet small, get called, and we've got a 1-to-1 SPR on the turn, I mean, the thing is, it's like we still beat king jack, but that won't call if we jam. The thing is, like, what hands? I suppose you can have some 8-9s, but I don't think, again, like, the question is, like, what do we get value from if we bet the turn? So if we think that we can get value from king jack, 8-9, ace jack by betting small on the turn against a recreational and then checking back river, I don't hate that. I would kind of prefer just a check though on the turn or a jam. Like, again, same reasons as the flop. If you check back, you allow, we can still just go to showdown and win. But the trade-offs, we'll lose versus like 9s. We'll lose versus like jack 10. Whereas if you jam here, you can still get value from like king jack of spades. You might get value from like 8-9 of spades. You might get value from ace jack of spades, and then bin some hands like the marginal hands. But then you might run into a queen. So I really don't hate both, checking here or jamming. You decide. Happy with both. Versus lead, fold. I think at this level, just always fold. Yeah, nice and easy. So we open ace-8, got 3-bet table 1 and folded. That's fine. I wouldn't consider having 4 bets as bluffs in these levels. Excuse me, I've got my tummy's rumbling. Easy 3-bet table 1 with the ace-queen. Open the king 10. Versus small 3-bet. I mean, I would mostly be folding. Do look at your opponent though. I don't know. I assume that when someone 3-bets to a size like that they're mostly just kind of don't have the really, really good hands. So I may have potentially over bluffed as a 4-bet with the king 10 table too. I think we're basically done. I think there's literally these last hands and then the video's done by the look of it. Can open the king 10. We can 3-bet against the button. Easy open with the 7s. Yep. Very easy fold against Homer Simpson's 5x. King 10 suited. We can call, we can 3-bet, table 1. I like both. I'm not 4-betting though. Not at these levels. Could potentially do a very small amount of 3-bet squeezing table 1, especially if you know the guy's got a lot of fold to 3-bets. Although this guy's a 996, so he looks like a very tight player, so I'd be very careful about attacking him under the gun. I'd be opening this king 10 off on table 2 if it folds to us. Could potentially 3-bet, but if that guy's recreational, I tend to prefer 3-betting against nittier, taggier players rather than just fish with that being that wide. And we're done. Lovely. Excellent. So good job, buddy. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. That's the end of part 2. That's the end of this video for this info. I'm trying to think of words now. I can't even speak English. We had 2 parts for this specific video, and that's the end of part 2. So we're done with this one. So thank you very much, guys. Again, please like, please comment, please subscribe. Chuck your comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.